Yo, Gary, Vlogadome video. I've taken your last video and carved it up. I haven't carved it up moving the pieces around. I've carved it up and left the pieces in position. I've just taken bits out. And I've looked through it again to see what I was going to do with this, because the initial idea was that I was going to do a little speak after each cut that I'd made. But actually, running through it, it's quite interesting to listen to it all and see your thoughts evolve as you go through the video, which is good. Now, I do appreciate that I could now re-edit it and take some pieces out that I had left in initially in what you described as me being naughty. And yes, I've left some bits in, and that's just me being naughty. But what we've got here, I think me putting it together like this actually has come up with something really quite interesting. So I'll play it when I say now, and I'll probably come at the end and say a little bit more. Okay, now.
All right. So what I was trying to say when I was responding, because you were basically saying there's nothing in here again to suffer, and that was the point. Like there's not a thing, or any one thing, and so yeah, I wasn't perfectly articulate in trying to explain it, because these are on the fly kind of conversations, and they're not perfect. So I really think you ought to quit picking that nit like that. I mean, you heard, I was the one who came up with the dwarf thing. I was the one who came up with the puppets, even with the strings, and so I mean, the real thing I wanted to get to that I didn't get to very articulately is that I'm still arguing for. I'm still defending the fact that there's a difference here. There is just one theater. Okay, and what I'm arguing is that the feeling thing is not an actor. The feeling thing is like the air conditioning. Even though Happy Elf is just like, okay guys, yeah, fuck it. I just couldn't care less. Because they've all been swamp gas. They've all been just wiped out. They all just saying fuck it. And that's a reflex. That's not a complex elf that creates that. That's not something that has a personality and all this shit. That's just this crude mechanism. That's just an air conditioner, Nick. It's just a bit of the hardware that, when something goes a certain way, you can talk about signals going up the spine, all this crap. The response is just something crude. And, a big floppy pile of shit pops out onto the floor. I mean, and you could say that they also, the inverse is with some people, that are manic or whatever, that, they get all of a sudden the happy gas gets into the room and everybody's trying to do everything at once. What I'm trying to cut it down to is that there is a theater, there's a stage, there's a climate control system, and these elements have tremendous impact. And I'm arguing that this pain sensation thing is part of the climate control system. Now, I guess I'm perfectly comfortable with the idea of the theater, the climate control system being what we feel, and the actors being the higher level function, human type functions, the conditioned emotional type actors, and the strictly the ones that are just into the beauty of the word, the poets. Yeah. So that's the essence of the disagreement. You don't want to. You want to just say it's my legs get cut off, a little electrical signal goes up my spine, and the same thing that happens when my brain recognizes red truck is the same thing that's happening when I have screaming pain in my climate control system. And I'm arguing that the mere fact that we can see how the pain takes over the whole environment, how it just wipes out all rational thought, it wipes out you don't even do anything anymore. All the elves are wiped out. I mean, all the the dwarves, they can be killed by pain. They can be killed forever. They can be damaged forever. They can become paranoid little psychotic fuckers after a good run of pain gas, and you can have dwarves that'll stay in the closet for the rest of their fucking existence. There'll be pieces of you that'll just fucking run and hide, and they'll never come out of the door. They'll never come out of there again. They're just going to say, "I ain't doing it. I ain't doing that again." And they're just going to run. They're still running. You know, they got so fucked by the experience. Yeah, and you're just not accounting for that. It's not just a script reader. It's a experiencer. It's experiencing. The dwarf actors aren't acting anymore when the climate control system, you know, is poisoning them. You know, I mean, what's happening to them is real. Of you know, the feedback loop, and maybe that's the core of the value sensation. Maybe it is when your brain, this neural system, ends up shoving electricity into the same, you know, into too much electricity into a neuron, or too much, you know, somehow it's, you know, it's running into itself or something. I mean, it's not breaking the laws of physics, but it's doing something, and that something is fucking the game up. But that's what it maybe is created out of. That's what this consciousness is created out of. This sense of consciousness is the fact that it does do this feedback thing. And this feedback thing might be the game. I mean, maybe when I put a camera into a screen and have it do the feedback thing, maybe I actually create suffering. Maybe that is pain happening in the universe. Not connected to anything. It just is. It just is this. That's the kernel of suffering. Maybe the brain just amplifies the effect of that out of control feedback loop. Yeah.
Okay, that was that, and I've just listened through again to it, and went and got a book to show you. I Am a Strange Loop by Douglas Hofstadter, that Matt and I were discussing when the book came out. We both got the hardback, paid the extra, got the hardback, which would have been in 2007 or something like that. And I'll show you the, you know, it's all words except there's just a little colour section with 4 pages of colour things, and all the colour things are all feedback loops. It's all feedback loops. And the title of the book is I Am a Strange Loop. And that was the whole drive of the book, that the I feeling that people have is a feedback loop. So you've caught up with, I mean, if you look up Hofstadter, you can find plenty of his videos going right back to the 70s, and he's been on this all the time, and he's one of these wonder kids that is just a wonder kid, and he's been dedicating his wonder kid mind to this sort of thing, and that's as far as he had got in 2007. So what I'm saying is, you're not doing badly, kid, eh? Now, he's gone for the I being the strange loop, but not the pain. Now, I'm not going to dismiss the pain being a feedback loop at all, because, I mean, you've caught up the wonder kid that's dedicated 40 years of his wonder kid life, and so there's no reason why you haven't run past him and got it right. But besides that we can forget the book, but it's worth looking up Hofstadter and looking at his old 70s videos. It's mainly on free will. But if you noticed, besides Nick's naughty bits, in the video that I put together, you were you'd got to then be oscillating between the air conditioning system, the climate control system suffering, and then that causing the actors, dwarves, to actually suffer. And then realising, obviously, although you said it was reality, me being naughty again, that it's not, obviously. It must be something else. And yes, it's mega confusing. But where did I want to go with this at the end? Oh, yeah. Quantica, in comments on my video, the one you were replying to, came up with a good idea. Now, anesthesia, it would be the better one. He's gone for, well, I say the better one because I don't really understand in shock. I think the in shock means that he was talking about, well, I don't know it in a medical sort of way. When you really torture somebody too much and they blank out, yeah? Torture somebody too much and they black out. That's probably called being in shock. I don't know, but that from the comment, that seemed to be what, if that's not the technical name, it's good enough for me. That when you torture too much and it's no good because they've blanked out, they've gone. You're still going, but they've gone, okay? And that is an interesting way to look at it. Or come over to, on the other side of anesthesia, which I don't know which you'd find it better to grab hold of. But you're grappling with the theatre, all right, that's representing the one body. Actors or dwarves, and air conditioning creating an environment for them, and something to do with the feedback loop. So those are sort of, that's where we're up to, that's where we're at, man. So how could we, I gave it a little bit of thought this morning, and I can't think for the moment, I can't think where to put in either what we're calling, that we can call shock, or anesthesia, where the pain is still there, but it is not being, it's not causing, for me, it's not causing the actors to act out anything anymore. The actors go back to just standing on the stage not knowing what to do. They just sit down and do nothing. Yeah? I think it's a very good next thing to step on to help us to pull together some pieces that we've got to so far. What would the air conditioning stroke actors, how does anesthesia fit into these analogies? Yeah. I want to finish by putting forward something that I would think it was. I don't know. I don't know. And me saying I don't know, nothing coming straight to mind, means that it is probably, it must be a good thing for us to be thinking on. So I'll leave that with you. And you must have, just a point from the video, there was a nasty click all the way through, which probably was emanating from inside the camera. I don't know. But you didn't seem to notice it as a person, and I don't think it was on my side. So it's worth checking, having a look at your something to see what that nasty click was all the way through the video there. But otherwise, yeah, I think the anesthesia angle and how can we fit this in to dwarves and air conditioning is a very good next step. And as I say, for the moment, I do not know where to put my mental foot. Perhaps you can give it some thinks. Bye.